Let us now hear a Shloka from Sri Saraswati Stotram by the great sage Agastya, recited by this child Anahata. We thank her for the recital. After the recital, we shall look at its gist of meaning and explanation of special Samskritam words in the Shloka. Finally, we have some interesting information on Goddess Saraswati and her temples in India and abroad. Please do not miss that.
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Meaning of this Shloka: O Goddess Saraswati, salutations to you, the giver of boons, the one who fulfills desires. I begin my studies. May there always be accomplishment for me. Special words: Kamaha, desire; Siddhihi, accomplishing or completion; Bhavatu, may it be or may it happen. The motto of IIT, that is Indian Institute of Technology Madras, contains the special words that were explained just now, namely Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja, meaning success or accomplishment comes out of or happens from action. The word Saraswati is derived from Saras, meaning pond, water, river, etc., that is a water body, but also meaning a speech, thus indicating fluidity and eloquence. Sarasijam is lotus, which blooms in water body. Goddess Saraswati is always seen in a white attire, which signifies purity and detachment. She is mostly shown to be sitting on a white lotus, which symbolizes tranquility and purity. Her Vahana or vehicle is a white Hamsa or swan, which symbolizes knowledge and self-realization. Interestingly, a Hindu saint who rises above the thoughts of death and birth and constantly meditates on Brahman is referred to as Paramahamsa. Saraswati is generally shown to have four arms holding the scriptures, a japamala or rosary, and a veena. In some depictions, she is also shown carrying a pot of water, perhaps in reference to river Saraswati. She is the goddess of learning, knowledge, wisdom, and all the 64 arts, including music. She is called by several names: Vagdevi, Vani, Sharada, Bharati, Mahavidya, Kalavati, Brahmi, etc. In many parts of India, Vasant Panchami is celebrated as Saraswati Puja every year on the 5th day of the bright half of the Hindu lunisolar calendar month of Magha, which is typically falling in late January or early February. On that day, very young children are inducted into Aksharabhyasam or learning of letters. In southern India, Saraswati Puja is done on the Navami or 9th day during Navaratri. In Tamil Nadu, it is also combined with Ayudha Puja for implements and accessories in one's profession or business. Aksharabhyasam is done on the next day, that is Vijayadasami. Older children are inducted into music and dance classes on that day. It is considered auspicious to start learning something new or start a new business or profession on Vijayadasami day. Reference is made to Goddess Saraswati in Rig Veda, dating back to several centuries before the Common Era began, as the greatest of mothers, greatest of rivers, and greatest of Devis or goddesses. In this Shloka going as Ambitame, Naditame, Devitame Saraswati. Sharada Peeth of Kashmir is a temple dedicated to Goddess Sharada or Saraswati, as well as an ancient center of learning. It was one of the foremost temple universities of the Indian subcontinent in medieval Kashmir, hosting scholars from far and wide, including foreign scholars. It played a key role in the development and popularization of the Sharada script in North India, and Kashmir was sometimes called Sharada Desh because of its influence as a center of learning. One of the 18 Mahashakti Pitas, Sharada Peeth represents the spiritual location of the goddess Sati, that is Dakshayani's fallen right hand, according to a legend. Sharada Peetam is one of the holiest sites of pilgrimage for Kashmiri Pandits. The ruins of Sharada Peeth are located in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, in the village of Sharada, in the Neelam Valley, 130 kilometers from Srinagar. Now efforts are being made to persuade the Pakistani government to open a corridor for pilgrimage and worship. Meanwhile, a new temple is being constructed in Titwal, in Kupwara district of Jammu and Kashmir, for Goddess Sharada. Recently, a South Indian couple, Venkatraman and Sujata, based in Hong Kong, managed to travel to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on a valid visa and did puja for the Goddess Sharada near the ruins of the old shrine. Our pranams to them. It is at the Sharada Peeth temple that Shankaracharya received the right to sit on the Sarvajnana Peetam or throne of wisdom. The first verse of Prapanchasar, composed by Adi Shankaracharya, is devoted to the praise of Goddess Sharada. The most famous Saraswati temple in India is the Sharadamba temple in Sringeri or Sringeri on the banks of the Godavari river in Karnataka. It was founded by Adi Shankaracharya in the 8th century of Common Era. The original Sharada image at this temple was of sandalwood. This is said to have been taken by Shankaracharya from the Sharada Peeth of Kashmir and brought to Sringeri. A seated golden statue of Sri Sharadamba was installed in the 14th century CE by Sri Vidyaranya, the 12th Jagadguru of Sringeri Shankaramat. Next to the Sringeri Sharadamba temple, the most popular and famous temple of Saraswati is that of Jnana Saraswati at Basar in Telangana on the banks of river Godavari. It is 130 kilometers from Hyderabad. Maharishi Vyasa is said to have spent considerable time here after the Mahabharat battle, giving the name of Vasara to this place, which later became Basara or Basar. Many pilgrims come to Jnana Saraswati temple at Basar to perform the Aksharabhyasam ceremony for the children before they start formal school education. Next in the list of popular temples dedicated to Goddess Saraswati is the one at Koothanoor, a village situated at 19 kilometers from Tiruvarur in Tamil Nadu. The name Koothanoor is derived from that of the famous Tamil poet Ottakoothar, to whom King Rajaraja Chola is said to have gifted this village. The deity here has 3 eyes and is in a posture of penance or yogasana with one leg folded. The Moolavar or main Vigraha does not have a veena in hand. However, a veena has been placed additionally. Saraswati Puja during Navaratri is the main festival here, and on the Vijayadashami day, hundreds of children are given Aksharabhyasam. The Vidya Saraswati temple, situated on a hillock at Wargal village in Siddipet district of Telangana, is the most famous Saraswati temple in the state after Basar. It is at a distance of 48 kilometers from Hyderabad and 61 kilometers from Siddipet town. This temple is also famous for Aksharabhyasa for children. The Navaratri Moola Nakshatram, which is the birth star of Goddess Saraswati, is the most auspicious day for worshipping Saraswati Devi here, when special rituals are held. The temple is maintained by the Kanchi Shankaramat. The Panachikkadu Saraswati temple, also known as Dakshina Mookambika temple, is located in Panachikkadu village in Kottayam district, Kerala, at a distance of 11 kilometers from Kottayam. It is one of the most prominent Saraswati temples for devotees in Kerala. But the main deity of the temple is actually Lord Vishnu, who was installed long before Goddess Saraswati was installed. Still, the temple is known as Saraswati temple due to the popularity of the goddess. It has more than 1,000 years of history. The major festival in this temple is the Saraswati Puja in the month of Tulam, that is September-October, during Navaratri. Above the Saraswati temple on the western side, there is a natural habitat made of exotic plants and their fragrant flowers. Ma Sharada temple is situated on the Tirkut mountain at a height of 600 feet from ground level in village Maihar of Satna district in Madhya Pradesh at a distance of 40 kilometers from Satna district headquarters. To reach the shrine, one has to climb 1063 steps. A ropeway is also available. It is said that when Lord Shiva was carrying the body of the dead mother goddess Sati, who is called Mai in Hindi, her necklace or har in Hindi fell at this place and hence the name Maihar, meaning the necklace of mother. Maihar is one of the 51 Shakti Peethas. Goddess Saraswati is worshipped by Jains and certain sections of Buddhists too. Her images may be found not only in the temples of India but also in those of Southeast Asia, the islands of Indonesia, as well as in China and Japan. In Ubud, in Bali of Indonesia, there is a beautiful temple called Purataman Kemuda Saraswati Temple with a large lotus pond and a water garden. It is a very sacred temple for people in Bali and it's also a great tourist attraction. In Japan, Goddess Saraswati is known as Benzaiten and is traditionally depicted playing the biwa or a short Japanese lute, in keeping with her status as a deity of music, knowledge and all that flows. She is the most worshipped deity in Japan, next only to Buddha. There are many Saraswati temples in Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka and Nara, among other cities of Japan. In Tokyo alone, there are 131 Benzaiten temples. Very often, the image is worshipped in a pool of water or a pond of lotuses, perhaps in association with river Saraswati.